Greetings and welcome to the channel, and today we're going to be looking at setting up PYODBC in your backend environment. Please like, share, and subscribe, and most importantly, reach out to me in the comment section for any help, tips, and suggestions. So before I start the video, definitely wanted to speak about MySQL. MySQL is the database that we're going to be using in this tutorial. Really not too much on MySQL. MySQL is that relational database, so definitely it uses SQL instead of its own type of library or own type of DSL in order to work with its own database. What's really important here is that we're looking at ODBC, and now ODBC is one of the many drivers out there used to connect to a SQL database. Where you're trying to interact with a database used through an application, what you need is a driver, and ODBC is one of the many drivers out there, and today we're going to be looking about how we can use it. So first things first, we want to go ahead and download the Python backend from downgit.github according to that link there. However, I already have it set up, so we're just going to get straight into the script. What we want to go ahead and do is that this backend environment, right, it is a PowerShell script. So we have, as you can see here, we have environment variable, right, and then you could just replace that. Once you set up your SQL database, you could replace that with the password and so on, right? Or if you're using Linux, or if you don't have PowerShell available, right, you can go in and look at the code inside. It's pretty straightforward. It's just line by line code, and set your backend environment variables as needed. Next, what we're going to do is we need the package PYODBC, and when we install this, what we end up getting is we get ODBC data sources installed into our Windows computer. If it's not available, it usually should be available, right? But if it's not, it would just go ahead and try to set things up. And if you don't, and if you always want to check to make sure if it's there, otherwise you have to get this installed yourself, right? So once you go ahead and run Python, everything should go fine as well, right? There should be connection, all right, and then I just go try to make a table in SQL. However, you get an error because it already exists, right? And we just want to remember when we're using PYODBC, after every SQL command, you also want to run cursor execute commit. Slightly different from how you know SQL, right? Usually in SQL, you put commit at the end of the SQL statement, or you have a transaction going on. But here, PYODBC runs things a little bit differently. That is fine, but this is something important to know. However, I wanted to make this video today because you might come across a situation where you are having issues with the driver, and what you would need is you would need a specific driver. You would need a driver upon another driver. You need that SQL Unicode driver, and I want to show you what I mean. Right, so here is the ODBC data sources, right, and here there are many drivers to go ahead and work with. Right, first what you want to go and do is you want to click on the system DSN, right, so that the Unicode driver could be available to all the users. But if not, you want to use user DSN. But for debugging and development, I definitely want to put things on the system DSN first. I'll go ahead and click the add button like so. Right, and now these are all the different types of drivers out there for all the different databases, right? We could see drivers for Microsoft Access. What we want to go ahead and use is the MySQL Unicode driver. As you can see, I already have that set up on my data sources, right? So once I'm able to try and interact with the database in Python, the PYODBC library is going to use the ODBC data sources and successfully establish the connection. And that's all I wanted to speak out on today. So thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and most importantly, reach out to me in the comment section for any help, tips, and suggestions.